Poverty in public schools. A presentation by me, Olivia Stevens. So, what is poverty? Stated by the Webster's Dictionary, poverty is the state of one who is lacking a significant amount of money or material possessions, being poor. This is specifically referring to those of low income being on or around the poverty line. Poverty in real life and people around us can look a lot different and doesn't necessarily match exactly the definition that comes from a big, dusty book that people only use to sound smart in essays. Poverty in public school is not having the supplies you need for class and your teacher not being able to help you because no one is able to afford extra supplies for the class, not even her. Poverty is going to school with wet socks because you had to wait for the bus in the rain and your shoes have been worn by 4 cousins and are full of holes. Poverty is coming to school with one hair tie and having to beg a teacher to help you with your hair because your mom was too tired from working 3 jobs to get you and your siblings ready and deal with your curly hair. Historically, it has usually been the poor or the impoverished that go uneducated. But that changed when public school was a thing that forced kids to be in school. In the 1980s, when they really started to worry about things like free and reduced lunches, they realized that nearly half of the student body of most states were low-income households. Some of the current statistics. The maps shown on this slide is from 2013, and from the research that I was able to find, things have only gotten worse since then, especially since COVID-19. This shows that historically and even now, it's been southern states that are full of poverty and that over half of their student bodies are impoverished. North Carolina alone, it is about 53% of public school students are living in poverty and going to school in poverty. Some legislation, the Every Student Succeeds Act, is the most recent one that I feel like is not talked about nearly enough. It was signed in 2015 by Obama, and this act was put into place to basically replace the No Child Left Behind system that was going for a long time that people still try to reference because a lot of schools, especially low-income schools, that don't necessarily have the resources to hold these kids back and really give them the time that they deserve and they need. They just don't have the resources to do it. They're still kind of playing by the rules of No Child Left Behind when really the Every Student Succeeds Act has well surpassed that. So some different perspectives. It's not the easiest task to find people really seeing poverty in public schools as not a problem. But there are people who are uneducated on the long-term effects and how it not only affects the child's household and education, but the other students around him or her. When a student is living in poverty, it will drastically affect their attention spans and the way they act in class, which inherently affects the students around them. The next 2 slides are real life conversations I've had with people. I told them I was doing this presentation and I asked if I could quote them, basically. This is from my best friend. She graduated with me last May. She said, I have so many siblings and we all grew up dirt poor. And when my sister got pregnant young, it's like the schools gave up on all of us. Another quote from her was, we also never got free lunch because mom was embarrassed to fill it out and us have to take it to school. Instead, they had online forms, but they were not advertised and you had to be on Facebook to know about them. They weren't necessarily something that was always in the online phone calls. So your kid would have to bring a big white sheet of paper to their homeroom teacher, which once you get to high school, you have to hunt them down to find them. So it's this big, ooh, I'm poor act, basically, and a lot of people just weren't going to do it. This is a quote from my mom. She was class of 1999. She said, there was 5 of us, so no packed lunches and no making sure homework got done, so grades slipped. But it didn't matter because our family wasn't the one running the school or funding it. Things have changed some now, but not so much. It It's the rich kids that are paid attention to. It is the kids whose parents have influence who are paid attention to, especially in small towns, especially in areas with low income families. They're kind of brushed over to make the high income families' children look better. Some ways that schools are addressing these issues are free lunches, are free in-school tutoring, which in elementary school can be called IE time, where they pull students aside and they help them with schoolwork and they make sure their homework gets done before they get home, before they even leave school, so they know it gets done and they know they get the help they need. The free summer feeding program, make sure that kids have food during the summer, because some kids, that school lunch is the only thing they have to eat all day long. So if all it is their parents have to come through and pick up a bag lunch, and on Fridays they will add some extra in there. And low-cost field trips. I know, especially whenever I was in elementary school, we would take a lot of field trips, just walking to the library and then walking back. And all of these listed are ones that I know are for sure happening in Yadkin County. So some things that I think we could do in the future to improve it is teachers need to educate themselves on what their school district looks like, where their kids are coming from. They need to sit down and have conversations with their kids and their families. If their kids are young, with their parents, with other teachers that have had them, with their principals, they need to know what's going on in their own classroom. I don't think poverty is something that will ever go away. It's just something we need to be able to work with and know how to deal with and know how to work around. And we need diverse teachers in every single school if possible, from all sorts of different backgrounds. Impoverished, we need teachers that didn't grow up that way. We need teachers, black, white, and we need them, all of them. We need everybody we need someone from every background to teach. Kids need influences from places they are not used to. And food banks at schools that aren't hidden away in a broom closet where you have to go up to the office and be like, hey, I need food for this weekend. It shouldn't be an embarrassing thing to go and ask for food. If you need food, you need food. This should be able to be out in the open. I went to high school. I just graduated from high school. No one's going to steal canned food. It does not need to be locked up in a room for a kid to have to beg for. And here are my references. Thank you for listening to me talk. I hope you have a blessed week.